We are getting deeper into thinking about child pornography. I'll ask Professor Masayuki next. I know that you have a short presentation, so.
Okay. 안녕하세요. Good afternoon. I'm Masayuki Hatta. My day job is economist, but I came here as an activist. I'm one of the founders of an organization called Meow. So that's my mail address. Meow is an organization modeled after EFF of the US, and we are working for the internet freedom in Japan. But today's talk is basically my opinion, not really Meow's opinion. So I'm involved with several discussions about virtual, non-existing child pornography in Japan. And I know discussions on virtual child pornography or real dolls tends to be really, really muddy, and basically will become yelling contest. Believe me, I was dragged into several of them. So I think why it has to be so. And my understanding is child-related issues can be very emotional subject, and also receptivity of provocative or disturbing expressions is widely different between people and countries. Maybe some countries are more acceptive, and some countries not. And also, I should say, some of strong advocates of censorship is heavily influenced by religious motives. For example, some of the strongest organizations of promoting censorship in Japan has deep roots in Christian fundamentalism. Also, I think a lack of simple principle is one reason that the discussion on child pornography is so confusing. I think today most of the audience are legal backgrounds or journalists, something, and so many people are interested in legal treatise of subject. But I think too much legal talks can be confusing consequences. So I try to find the common ground. I believe all of us want to protect our children. So it's unfortunate if we are divided by non-essential points. So I think clear principle can take us to clear discussion, and clear principle helps us to understand what we know and what we don't know. So I'd like to propose non-aggression principle as a foundation of our discussion. So it's very simple. Aggression is inherently wrong. So conversely, non-aggression should be allowed, unless you do not harm others. So this is non-aggression principle. So basically, it says you can do anything, whatever you want to do, anything stupid, destructive, immoral, etc., unless you do not harm others. So if you accept this principle, the discussion on child pornography can be very simple. So what's aggression? Aggression can be defined as initiating or threatening any forceful interference with an individual or their property without consent is aggression. So obviously, sexual or non-sexual child abuse is a form of aggression. So it's strictly prohibited. But so children is considered as they don't have enough decision-making power. So ease of consent can be justified. So from the non-aggression principle point of view, non-bachelor, actually everybody says so, non-bachelor child pornography cannot be justified. There must be real victims because. But bachelor, non-existing child pornography can be justified. Justified is a little bit strong words, but anyway, justified because there is no victims, right? So NAP, non-aggression principle itself can be justified. There are several justifications, but I'm an economist, so I tend to think in economist way. And there is a concept called Pareto efficiency or Pareto efficient. So I think you can live ethically. Ethically is not really good word, but anyway, ethically in the NAP world, but you cannot live unethically in the NAP world. So maybe the world with NAP world respects NAP is serving good thing for many people. So as Jeremy said, there is no strong evidence which suggests virtual child pornography will cause any real harm on real children. So some people said allowing virtual child pornography can lead potential pedophile to do real crimes. But as far as I know, and as far as many professionals said, there's no evidence of such things. And also, focusing on virtual child pornography can hinder the effort to combat real child pornography problem with real victims. In 2012, Swedish police did their testimony in a trial, in a child pornography trial. They said they can put more effort in investigation of real child pornography crimes if they are not be bothered by virtual child pornography claims. So I found the recent CRC guideline disturbing because it mentioned including drawing and virtual representations, and it also sets somehow drawings or cartoons or virtual representations of child pornography has effect on children's right to dignity or protection. I honestly say I don't understand what they are talking about. So where is children? Where is virtual children? CRC itself clearly indicates it is about real children, but I think this clause 63 somehow mentioned virtual children. So do you recognize the right of virtual children, cartoon characters, or maybe other things, or some rights of real children is violated somehow? Actually, in Japan, some feminist activists claim that, yes, so that the mere existence of child pornography, virtual child pornography, somehow violates real children's some rights. I have no idea why. So my main concern is NAP, non-aggression principle, is really compatible with individualism. And in Japan, maybe in Korea, in the US, younger generation, and especially many in technology sectors, is increasingly individualistic. So arguments with not compatible with NAP, something like, it's human rights issue, so we should restrict virtual child porn or something like that. It's difficult to win wider sympathy. So in Japan, at least in Japan, I guess in South Korea or in the US, there is a strong backlash against liberalism. all over the world, and I think part of the reason is this. And also, my concern in Japan, many anti-virtual porn crusaders employ the authority of the U.S. Authority of the UN, United Nations, and I think their argument is not really convincing enough. So it may undermine not only the authority of the UN, UN itself, but also the wider efforts to combat real child abuse. It's really, really sad and bad. And also, I think it's really disturbing for some of you, but I'd like to mention that everybody deserves sexual enjoyment unless you do not harm others. So if you talk about the role of government in this area, maybe we should talk about virtual pornography as welfare. So it sounds really ridiculous, but I don't think so. If you admit the rights of virtual children, it's their human rights of those minor real dolls or sex robots or cartoon characters. If you admit or if you allow that, maybe they can be banned because of that. Or the issue is really urgent these days because there are people who are deprived of sexual enjoyment. It's including people with disabilities, elderly people, and also some of you might have heard about incels or MGTOWs. Or in Japan, there are some young men called invincible men. Invincible men means, actually it's a translation of Japanese word, mudeki no hito. Invincible men means not really invincible. They have nothing to lose, so they can do whatever they want. So sometimes they do terrorize or rape or something like that. So I think, yeah, it's very disturbing, but I think maybe banning virtual pornography, virtual child pornography, is depriving them of their only source of sexual enjoyment. Anyway, something like that. So this is my comments. Thank you very much for listening.